Oh, say, can you see? We have a guest on the pod. He's black, kinda. He's our friend, and he's willing to get locked in. All right, guys, welcome to the Locked In Syndrome. Special guest, very special guest, Zade McKay, all the way from downtown New Orleans. Just got done doing his business. Uh, he's a very busy man, but we finally got him to lock in with us. All right. So, yeah, I think we should just give him a round of applause.
Let's go.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Go.
Thank
Yeah.
All right.
Welcome
My head
to
up.
the Locked In Syndrome podcast, Zade. So I got a couple questions to ask you for the viewers and everything. For the viewers, if they don't know, Zade has been on this journey of being locked in, really, honestly. This man is the most locked in I've ever seen this man. His finances is right. This man is reading books. This boy could not read books for his life in school, but this man is reading books out the wazoo. So how did that come about? What made your brain switch to, I need to lock in, actually?
It's actually a really good question. I think the initial point was when I started working like everybody else. I was 18, 19. I started working a 9 to 5. And I realized that when I'm working this 9 to 5, that no, seriously, all right, I'm locked in. Okay.
Sorry.
I started working.
No, we're good. No, we're good. Steven threw us off.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, but all seriousness. So when I started working this 9 to 5, I realized that everybody around me, like in my vicinity, like my parents, my friends, my friends' parents, everybody around me was like literally 2 paychecks from being broke. And I was like, these people work
Dang.
40 years of their life. They rely on a stock market in hopes that when they're 60 is going to be there or not go down, and it's like, it started making me think, like, if you go to a gas station, right, and you
Been
see
there.
a kid with a Lambo and say he's 23, you don't automatically think, yeah, that kid has a degree or that kid is doing, something. You automatically think, he's young, he's in a Lambo, he's probably a drug dealer, he's probably doing something he's not supposed to do. Because when you see a nice car like that, you know that it's outside of the perspective of what everyone can achieve if you just work a 9 to 5 for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
It's something psychological. So I started realizing, I'm seeing, like, when I started working with a lot of older people and older gentlemen, I always like realized that they all had the same patterns in their life. And whether it was from money to decisions they made when they were young, and this is gonna like go back to my whole point, is why I've locked in and decided like now is the time. And like, if you're 18 to 25, like, I really want you to pay attention right now, because like this is like the most prominent time of your life, because what you do with your time right now is like dire. Like, this is going to change the outcome of your future, and like you need to understand that. Like, a lot of people tell you, like, you need to have fun when you're young, you're only 21 once or whatever, but the trajectory that you are moving right now, your decisions, every single decision you make right now counts, because what you decide to do with your time is going to literally, you're either going to be working till you're 60 or you're going to be comfortable by 50, 45. So like, everything revolves around money, whether you want to believe it or not, whether you have psychology saying that all money is evil, things like that. At the end of the day, you need money to survive. Now, what you choose what to do with the money, you can choose to do good with people. You can bless people. You can do things like that. So my whole point was, when I was young, when I was like 18, 19, I was hanging around like a lot of these older guys, these older gentlemen, and a lot of their struggles was like they just wanted to retire. Like they literally just said, I just don't feel like working. I have a kid, I have a wife, I don't like the job. I've been doing the same thing for 30 years and I can't go anywhere. I can't do anything. So these men are just suffering in silence because they have to sacrifice their time to make money. And I think people need to really understand that is you're sacrificing the one thing that isn't abundant, which is your time, for something that is abundant because they're printing money. And I think a lot of people don't understand because they don't teach financial literacy in school at all. They don't
No,
like
they don't.
if you don't know anything about, for the most part, if you go to a normal high school, they're gonna briefly talk about, things, but they don't teach you, tax exchanges like 1031 tax exchanges and any financial literacy, how to invest in the stock market, what even the stock market is, how to make money, what money is. So you have to understand that I'm looking at these individuals and I'm like, damn, like something's not right. These guys have been here for 30 years. 30 years of their life they spent doing the same shit every single day. And they're they're still working. So clearly what they're doing isn't right. But so then I started to dive deeper into it. I was like, okay, well, why when I go on social media or I go on, whatever, Instagram or TikTok or whatever, I see these young kids in Ferraris and Lamborghinis and stuff. And I know a lot of it can be fake, some of facade,
Yeah.
it's
Oh,
marketing,
yeah, for sure.
Or just
but
inherited,
they're
you
also
know.
inherited, right? But also that's what I realized was the brainwashing of society around money is that everyone's brainwashed that those things are unachievable or that he has daddy's money or that kid did this and this and that. So it's you have to understand that if you follow the guidelines that they teach you, go to school, get a degree, get a job, invest in the stock market, retire when you're 60, who the fuck wants to be a millionaire when they're 60?
True.
You can't spend the money when you're 60. You
I
want to
mean,
be you
I'd
want to
rather
be
be, yeah, I know what you're saying, but I'd rather be a millionaire at any age. But I'll take 60 eventually too.
but realistically, if you could choose, would you want to be a millionaire when you're 60 or would you want to be a millionaire when you're 20?
20, 100%.
Okay.
Take 20 all
So
day.
I started looking at and I'm like, okay, there's these young cats or these young kids in these cars and they have these houses and these things, but not all of them are, inheritance or daddy's money or whatever you want to say. So I was like, okay, well, if I want to make money, I need to understand what money is in the first place. I need to understand like
Yeah.
where it's at, how to make it, what is it, why do I not have it? And I started to get angry. Like seriously, I started to get angry. I'm like, these kids are driving these shit and they're doing this and that. These kids have businesses, they have this. Why can't I do that? Because clearly, if I follow what everybody else is doing, my parents taught me, what my parents taught them, get a job, go to work every day and you're going to be fine. That clearly doesn't work because we're still living paycheck to
Yeah.
paycheck. So I started to study money. I started to read books. I started to try and figure out why do I not have money? What is money and how do I make it? So then
What are
the more this is good.
Sorry, I was just gonna throw in there. What are some book recommendations or some at least short summaries of ideas that key takeaways that you got from some of the literature that you perused?
If you want to start anywhere when it comes to money, the first book you should read is The Psychology of Money. That book breaks down the brainwashing that society has on money, right? It explains to you what to do when you get money, how to maintain money, and understand when enough is enough. Okay. And so I would definitely recommend The Psychology of Money. Rich Dad Poor Dad is another good one.
I put you onto that, right?
Yes, sir. That's a good book.
It's
Yes,
pretty
good
And
book.
popular. I feel like everybody's talking about that one.
Rich
Yeah,
Dad
that
Poor
one's a real
Dad.
good book.
And my last favorite one is A Millionaire Fastlane. That one's a
I
really
gotta buy
good
that.
one.
Yeah.
That's a really good book. But basically, when I started, this is a summary on what all the podcasts and the YouTube videos and the things that I was learning basically showed me is that in 1976, President Nixon, it all leads down to economics at the end of the day. And if you understand this, you kind of start to see the whole system from a bird's eye view rather than just being in the system. So what had happened was your money, right? And this is how the
Hmm.
scam is. And this is really important that I want everybody to understand that the dollars that you are working for every single day is valuable. Like, it literally has no value. And I'm going to explain
Yeah,
to
it
you
has
why.
no value. Yeah, no, it 100% agree.
When
It
they
has no
say they
value.
literally money is thin air, it is literally money is thin air. And I'm going to
Yeah,
explain
because they
why.
can just
Okay. So in 1976, President Nixon signed a bill basically saying because they had too much debt. America had too much debt at the time, and they couldn't pay off all this debt. And they didn't technically your money used to be backed up by the gold that was in the Federal Reserve, right? Everyone knows this.
Yep.
The Federal Reserve that we've never seen in all this time, we've never seen the gold, but you have to trust us that it's in there. Okay. It used to be backed up by that. But they were in so much debt and they couldn't pay it off and they couldn't justify how much gold, they didn't have enough gold to justify how much money they needed. So what did they do? They turned the printers on. That's right. He said, let's turn the fucking printers on. And they started printing money. So guess what? That starts inflation. And guess what? When they start printing money, now your money's not backed up by anything.
yeah.
It's backed up by the trust of the government. The trust. You're trusting them and they're setting you up for failure.
Yeah,
So
100%.
that's why people are literally slaving their entire lives for a dollar bill that is worth nothing. It holds no value.
Well,
So
let's define value. I mean, we,
money is a tool. And I'm glad you said that, Stephen.
yeah,
Money is a tool which rich people use to buy value, assets, properties, real estate, art, antiques, stocks, anything that's valuable. They use that as a tool. But as the
Reese's
average
peanut butter
person,
cups.
Reese's peanut butter cups. But the average person goes and they save money. They think, oh, I need money. And they built, and the whole system, it's honestly an ingenious plan. Like, if you really think about it, it's a mastermind mind control because they built a society on consumerism. Everyone's a
Yeah.
consumer and they benefit off of consumerism. So what they do is you consume, they make more money. And this is why you hear the whole saying, the rich get richer and the poor stay poorer. So I was learning all these things and I was going through it and I'm like, it's pissing me off even more because it's like, not only am I watching people throw their 40 years of life away for nothing, like their time, because time is the most valuable asset because all money does is buy you time. Because the more money you have, the more you can do. Really what it is. It's just
Yeah.
time.
I'd have to disagree on that one.
Tell me why.
Well, that's just wrong. I don't understand what you mean. Money does not buy me an extra year.
Right. But money, okay, so let me ask you, what do you mean money doesn't buy you an extra year?
It could buy me an extra year of, being less poor, but it doesn't buy me more time on Earth.
It doesn't buy you more time, but it gives you the ability to do what you want, when you want, for how long you want, for whatever time you want. Does it or does it not?
It can give me time to do other things, but it does not
Yeah,
give
that's what
me
he's saying.
time.
No,
That's what I'm
no,
saying.
it gives you time to do your
It
things
gives
that
you
you want
time.
to do in
You
Right.
life.
if
Yeah.
you want to spend time with your family or your kids or your anything you want to do, money. If you have money, you can do that. You don't have to go to work.
Yeah.
You you can do whatever you want. You can spend time with your relative. Say you like music, you can do music all the time. You don't have to worry about that financial burden. But they purposely stroll you along like a carrot to chase after this dollar that's not worth anything So you waste your time doing dumb shit and consumerism. And like, so long story short, I I started realizing this, I started studying it, it started pissing me off. So then I said, okay, like I said, how can I make money? Businesses. And I started getting into real estate, things like that. And I started to find out that there has to be a way. If there's a will, there's a way. And there's people doing it. It's just not common knowledge. So then started diving deep into their books because where's the knowledge at? It's in the books. It's in people talk about it, but we're so brainwashed that we need dopamine. Everyone's has a dopamine addiction. They
Yeah,
scroll on
everyone
TikTok
does.
24/7. They go on Instagram. They can't. Their attention span is like a 2-year-old, and they make it on purpose. An iPhone is the new mind control. Like everyone
It's
has a
like
phone.
crack.
It's like
It's
crack.
literally crack. It is crack. It is.
It's
It's
literally
just crack.
cocaine. They're
Yeah.
they're feeding off of your dopamine, and people don't
Bo
see that. Good.
Bo Burnham has a really good quote on this where he said once they stopped colonizing land, they started colonizing your attention span.
Oh
And
yeah, they consumerism.
that
Of course,
as much time as you can
of
spend
course,
on the internet, they want it,
they
or
want
on a
all of it.
screen or
And
attached
guess
to
what?
some social
They
media.
track it. They track it. They're not even. They're people. They have programs that track your time, your screen time, and then they sell it to other companies. They're making money
100%.
off of you just looking at your phone. Like it's so much deeper than what people think. Like I don't think people can comprehend how deep this even AI. Like if you don't know anything about AI, like this is this is it's if you think they have control now, just wait. Wait until
Oh yeah.
everything's electronic. Just wait.
Yeah.
They're right
Yeah.
now, they're gonna purposely crash the dollar bill. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because they can't get their hands in everybody's cash. They can't tax you on that. But if everything goes electronic, guess what? Every single tap you make, they're getting their hands into it. That's
Yeah. I
why do you think they tried to
there's
shut
a
crypto down when they first came out? Because it was Chinese. Because guess
yeah.
what? America couldn't put their hands in it. As soon as they allowed America to put their hands in it, oh, crypto's everywhere. XRP, Bitcoin, yay! But at first, oh no, we're not doing that. You guys can't make money. They don't want you to make money because it money
Credit.
allows you to have more time. And the more time you have, the more you'll be able to see the mind trap that you're in. But if you are constantly trying to pay your car insurance, that's through the roof. You need credit that you don't even have credit. So how are you going to build credit? Oh, well, let's hit you with a 29% interest rate on your first credit card. And it's the system is designed to set you back. It's not designed to set you up for success. And
Yeah.
like, if you start literally diving deep in every single subject, it can even be marriage. Why do you think they push this agenda that they're sexualizing women on social media and they're pushing to destroy the modern family? Even if you want to get religious, however you want to look at it, they're purposely doing that. And then this is how clever they are. They make the laws favor the women because if you're a man and you worked your whole life and you're 40 years old and your wife's, she gets upset and she doesn't like and you are on your phone and the dopamine addictions you're going to get from seeing women or things like that and you end up cheating, guess what? She can take 60% of everything you have. It's a 60-40 for the most part. They purposely make the divorce laws for the women's because women are emotional creatures by nature. Men think logically, women think with their emotions. they're we're loyal to logic, they're loyal to her emotions. There's nothing wrong with it. So if she feels that you're a piece of shit because you cheated, she's going to take you to court. She's not going to think, oh, well, he worked 40 years of his life and I'm probably going to take the house and half of the house. We're not going to get the house because I'm going to get half of it. And the kids are going to be in separate homes and things like that. And it's going to just destroy everything financially. They don't care about
So,
that. They care
so
about
what
that.
I'm hearing is it seems like we have a kind of a anesthetic or just a pacified culture, especially targeted towards the virtue of work and masculinity and family values. So, in all of this, kind of great scheme. You kept saying that they're kind of like masterminds or stuff like that. I would have to push back on that because I don't think it's that intelligent to be evil. I think it's quite it
It's
kind of parodies itself after a while. It's kind of a little bit easy. Um, and it's very easy to succeed in life by being evil and just joining them. So I wouldn't give them that much benefit. I think they're actually quite lazy. I think virtuous people are much more creative and intelligent. But to your point, what would so you prefaced all of this with locking in, right? You started to go down the rabbit hole and you discovered all of this. What is your key takeaways and your solution to most of these problems or your own creative way to fight back in a way?
the more you know can save you. Education. If you educate yourself, like what you don't know can actually kill you. And like I think a lot of people don't care. I feel like a lot of people defend their own system that they're in. It's honestly sad. Like I brought this topic up with many people, and it's like people don't want to hear the truth. They're scared of it. They don't either. They want to deny it. They want to say, "Oh, that's too far fetched," or they just simply just are okay with just being a modern day. This is modern day slavery. They not
Right.
like you want to say that okay, they did a lot of bad stuff to black people back then. They're doing it to everyone now. They don't care. Like no, seriously,
Hold
they're
up, hold
doing
up,
it
hold up, hold up. Can we
No.
rewind? I want you to elaborate those air quotes for a second.
because I think that a lot of history was switched around. I think that if you really dive deep into it, there was white slaves too.
Oh,
There
Jewish
was
people.
Irish slaves and Jewish. I feel like we're all slaves to Jewish people. If you want to
I
Yes,
need
really
we
not
get,
are.
if
apply.
you want to go political, this is the United States of Israel. Every
It really is.
president other than JFK has kissed that wall. Let's
Here
talk
we
about
go.
it. You want to go down that rabbit
Here,
hole? We can go down that
let's
rabbit
go
hole.
down it.
You want to talk?
I got notes for this. I
You
got
want to
notes
talk
for this.
about? And I know, Stephen. You brought up you don't believe that it's that it's not this mastermind plan. Do you know about the 13 royal families? The Rockefellers, the
Bro,
DuPonts, the Rothschilds. Do you know about them?
I
Because
did not spend that
they pay
much
all
time
this.
on that.
The DuPonts pay all the Delaware state tax. Do you know that? One family pays the entire state's taxes.
And they pretty much have most of Delaware. I know that, but they
Okay,
started in there.
so let me explain something to you. So, have you ever thought about America's in debt? But who are they in debt to? You ever thought about that question? You ever asked that question?
Assuming mostly China.
Okay, other than China, who else are they in debt? Because it's not all China. It's a lot. Actually, it's not. It's not even a significant amount to China. Surprisingly,
No way. Really?
have you ever asked the question?
Hold on one second. How do I get out of here?
What? No, I have thought of that.
I'll explain. It's perfect. This is perfect. Okay, so back in World War II, let's just use World War II as an example. Yeah, the Rothschilds. Okay, they're private bankers. Okay, so this is what they did. I forget his name. It was like the dad of like the Rothschilds. He basically had his three sons, and he said, This is the beginning or origin story of how they basically operate." The dad had all these sons, and he told his one son, "I want you to go to Sweden, and I want you to become a banker." And he told his other son, "I want you to go to I'm just using hypotheticals. This isn't literal, but this is literally what he did. But these aren't the exact states or whatever that he went to. But say he went to Germany, became a banker. Another one went to Palestine and became a banker. Right? He sent all his sons all out. He said, "I want you. If your brother needs help with money, you fund him, and you guys fund each other." So now the one banker, he like, "I want you to climb the ladder in the banks till you become high up in the bank, and I want you to fund each other." So then when World War II happened, they said, "Okay, we have this side of the war." This is why these people love war. You want to get serious? This is why the Jews love war. I'll tell you why. Because it's a money galore. They
Oh yeah,
are
it is.
profiting every which way, and I'm going to explain how. They say, "Okay, you guys want to go to war? we're going to give you tanks, we're going to give you this, we're going to pay for all this. This is how these countries become in debt. It's war. We're going to pay for all this stuff, but you're going to pay us back. These are the Jews. You got to pay us back, the bankers. But who's paying us back? The citizens and their taxes. You're paying them back. And guess what they do? After they fund Germany's side, they go to America. Oh, Germany's coming against you guys. We can help you out. You need some tanks? All right. Only $2 trillion. There you go. Now they're funding both sides of the war. So they don't even give a crap who wins because either way, they're going to make money off both of them.
Yeah.
And now they're winning. They're funding them, Germany, and then they're funding America. And then they fight. Whoever wins, they still have to pay the tax dollars back to these private bankers. And guess what? This is why they come up with excuses to go in Afghanistan and take oil and do this and do that. Because guess what? The more war they cause, the more they can fund. The more they can destroy, they go back over and say, hey, we can rebuild you guys, your whole city after we just destroyed it. We can rebuild it though. If
It's
you
gonna
know,
cost money.
it's going to cost money,
Yeah.
and
It's gonna cost money. Yeah.
your citizens are going to have to pay us. It's all a game. This is why the Jews, the Zionists, let me be specific right here. Not all Jews. The Zionists were kicked out of 91 countries. Why would a population of people be kicked out of 91 countries? Oh, I'll tell you why. Now we have
Please
AI.
tell me.
Now we have AI. John D. Rockefeller. This is really important. You can fact check me. I want everybody, whoever's watching this, to fact check me.
By the way,
John D.
guys, for the
Rockefeller.
listeners at home, just know that AI stands for anime infiltration, I'm pretty sure.
It's true.
Anyways, continue.
John D. Rockefeller this is how clever these people got. Okay, John D. Rockefeller is the creator or like the owner of the new public school system. Okay, have you noticed the public school system went to shit in the past
It's
25
been to
years,
shit.
30 years,
Yeah.
40 years? Right. Everything they teach you in the public school system is from a Jewish man. Okay. Now I'm going to knock you guys out. I'm going to go out. You want to talk about
When
conspiracies?
you when
Let's
you
talk
say
about
that, what
them.
do you mean? Like it comes from a Jewish man? Like
I'm
he's
going to
like
explain
handing
to you.
out books?
You know
The whole the
Moses?
whole educational system, like like everything they teach you, like in
Moses
science.
is just handing out books.
It's all
No,
based off
like
the Ten Commandments,
seriously,
bro.
they
You know the Bible, written by Jews. Turns out.
well translated, yeah. But long story short, John D. Rockefeller, he he basically designed the whole modern day school system. And within the modern day school system, everything you pretty much learn in public school system was designed by him, right? Why this is important. On his gravestone, he put, I am not in the business of making thinkers. I'm in the business of making workers.
hmm
That transpires back to the whole I'm 18 years old, working at a job. And there's 40, 50-year-old guys working for their whole life and still can't retire. He's not in the business. Let's think about the words he's saying.
Ah, I get it.
School is a business system. It's not
Yep.
even just your education. It's a
It's
business
not. It's
system.
not a thinker system. It's not. You don't think when you're in school. You just
Exactly.
do what
You
you're
just
told.
do
Yep.
what you're told.
You
You
just
don't think
do.
outside the box. They don't
So
want you
you're
to think
saying
outside the box.
you're saying work will
Okay?
not set me free.
No. Your
All right.
job is going to, you can take your job and your income from your job and use that to set you free. Everyone needs a job. Don't get me wrong. Everyone needs a job. It's a starting point. But if you think that you're going to be at a job and you're going to retire off your job and you're going to just be financially stable for the rest of your life, that's a delusion that they put into you. Just
Can
like a mortgage. If
can
you
you
break down the work, go ahead.
No, you're good. Can you define what freedom means to you in like the most um like fundamental, like basic sense of the word? What does freedom mean to you?
That's a good question because I was thinking that too. Because when you keep mentioning these kids in nice cars, and when I see kids in nice cars, I don't want to be like that at all. So, what is the goal that you're trying to get? What's the freedom?
I want to escape the rat race, which means I want to be able to do what I want, when I want, for however long I want, and as much time as I want. So whether that's for me driving Lamborghinis or going to the casino, whatever, it doesn't matter. Or for you, spending time with loved ones, you know, being able to provide a good education for your kids, being able to provide a stable home for your wife and, not have to poison your kids in the foods that they're feeding them. You know, freedom is different for everyone, all around. But for me, it's being able to do what I want when I want for however long I want and not having to go to a job and listen to what a boss has to say. You know what I'm trying to say? I
Yeah.
don't like to be constrained in a box because you can even relate this to like Kanye, for instance. Kanye is a
Shout out
and
to the goat.
he's a very
Uh-oh.
he's a very misunderstood person, and I feel like he's a
He there
very
he is. Yeah, he
powerful.
is.
He's a very powerful man because people back then, 10 years ago, said he was crazy, like they're saying right now. But if you say, "Oh, the new quote is I miss the old Kanye," well, back then, in 10 years ago, nobody liked Kanye. They thought he was all a weirdo. So he's ahead of his time. That's all it is. But Kanye basically said his parents never put restrictions on him. You, Steven, Steve, and Danny, you guys are unstoppable. You are the only barrier of yourself. And that is a truth. God is within all of you.
Hey, look at those
God isn't with
shoulders.
everything. And the only thing stopping you is yourself and what the
True.
society has put on you. The society norms. That's it. Your mind you only use what, 5% of your brain capacity?
Yeah.
Realistically,
True.
Not me.
averagely, whether you even use two. That means you have so much room to grow. But unfortunately, in our society, we have a dopamine addiction to where we want to play video games, we want to drink liquor, we want to intoxicate ourselves, we want to do drugs, we want to do this, we want to do that. I'm not saying you can't have fun, but my whole point is when you're young,
I am.
especially a young man, mainly, you know, pointing towards young men. The decisions you make today, every single decision you make is calculated because it's like a ball. Like if you hit a ball, like a baseball, and you swings and it's going through the air, right? If it's right now, your point in life is like if you even if it tilts a little bit, say you're driving down the freeway and you decide you get a burst of energy and you want to drive fast, you skid out, crash your car and kill somebody. Now you're in jail for the rest of your life. Everything you work for, gone like
Yeah.
that. So what you do right now with your time is very important. It is very, very because right now you're shifting your trajectory of your life like this. When you get older, you're in your 40s and you make a decision, yeah, I mean it could screw you up, but like your life's on the lower end. You're going down. It ain't
Yeah.
gonna
You're going
curve you
down.
off too much. But if you make a bad decision now, and if you're wasting your time now, you're going to be wasting your time you're going to be playing catch up like everybody else for the next 30, 40 years. And then you're going to be hoping you can retire off the stock market. That's probably not going to be around or it might crash and hope that it's going to not crash. And guess what? They're taxing you. And then you have to live off a Medicaid that they're taxing you and it's going to be overpriced. And they're probably going to push the age of retirement back to like 79 by the time we're that old, 80, 100, because they
So
keep
you got
pushing it
one
back.
foot in the grave. Maybe then you can take a rest.
Yes, sir. So my whole point is these Jews are in the. I'm serious. Fact
Sorry,
check
no,
me.
that was a good delivery.
These
That was
these
good delivery.
Jews. This is why, and this is the point I want to. This is going to be a very controversial point that I'm going to make, and I want everyone just to listen to this with an open mind. After everything I've just said, okay. remember when I said John D. Rockefeller made the school system, okay? Who, now I'm going to ask you, this is general knowledge, guys. Watch this. I'm going to light Yagami this conversation right here. Who is the most evil person in history?
They would say, the people would say, it's Hitler.
Ding,
They would
ding, ding,
say,
ding. Okay,
I was gonna say Kane.
okay. That's a good one. Danny?
Your mom? No, I don't know. Probably Hitler.
Okay. So, isn't it
Evil
very
Zade.
funny? Isn't it very funny that in school they always talk about the gas chambers, which they don't have
yeah,
any proof of. They don't have any
no, I
proof of no
approve of.
gas chambers. There's no all the private journalists. You can look it up. There's no proof of gas
You know
chambers.
what's hold on? You know what's even crazier?
That's
The
crazy.
statistics don't even make sense. 6 million Jews.
The
That's
statistics.
not true.
That's how are you
What?
going to bake 6 million Jews
How are
in
you
that
gonna make
time frame?
6 million?
All
Not
right.
even
Slow
the
down, slow down,
statistics
slow down,
don't
slow
even
down.
make sense.
Hold
Hold on.
on.
Let me
I
finish.
have a question.
Okay,
Mr. McKay,
I'm
what do
listening.
you make of the population?
What do I make of the population
The decrease in Jewish population.
During World War II.
during World War II?
Yes.
Let me
Yeah.
ask you something. When there's a war, right? For instance, Germany and America, who writes the history?
All right. So your defense
The
is
winner?
basically that it was all made up.
Bro, they've been lying to you about the money that you work for every day. Why the hell wouldn't they lie to you about that? Don't you understand? Okay,
Well,
listen, let me finish. Hold
that's
on.
just
And I'll
confirmation bias, though.
hold on. Let me finish my point and I'll reverse back to your population statistic. Mind you, the statistic that was made by a Jewish man. Hold on.
Hold
Let
on,
me
he's
backtrack.
cooking. He's cooking.
Hold
Hold
on.
up.
You don't even know what
Hold
Hold
source I
up.
on.
used.
Okay.
Hold up. He's cooking.
It's
No, he's
still by
cooking.
a
Let him
Jewish
cook.
man. Hold on. John D. Rockefeller said, I'm not in the business, right? It's a business. He's talking about a system that people follow. Okay. Hitler was, now this is gonna
Over and
get deep,
over.
and I want you to fact check me. Please. Everybody listen to this. Fact check me. Now we have modern day AI. They have went back and translated Hitler's speeches because it was in German. Nobody could understand it. And in history and in school, they said, oh, yeah, Hitler was a bad guy. He did all this to these Jews, da 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 da, da, which is their people. Coincident, their people. So if you are the owner or you had this mastermind business plan, right? And you're the Antichrist, say you were the Antichrist and you had Jesus as the enemy and you're trying to manipulate everyone, but you're writing the history, you're going to make that dude sound like he was like the worst guy in history because you don't want anybody to question what he was. Why? My question wouldn't be, did he kill these people? My question is, why would he kill these people? What would how did he convince so many people to follow him to kill these people? These Germans, hold on, because people say, oh yeah, well, they're in the military and they're scared. But there were diehard Nazi fans. There are diehard Nazi people. Because if you translate his speech, he was saying everything that they're doing now, that they're poisoning our foods. If you go to the grocery store, 90% of it is trash. Look at it. It causes cancer, it causes illnesses. They run our banks, they run our politics, they run everything. They run our banks. He tried to stop this from happening. So, guess what they did? And the whole big thing in history and around World War II where uh, Hitler was burning the books. You guys know about that? Where he was
Mhm.
burning all the books. What books were he burning? Do you guys know? Does anybody even know what books he was burning?
No, fucking no clue.
Any
Transgender books. Books on the study of transgenderism. What are we seeing in today's society? Look it
Bunch of
up.
fucking
Fact check
Well,
gays.
me.
so here's the thing. So here's the thing.
Well, okay, hold
Um,
on. Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. Why would they push the agenda of transgenderism and gay? Why would they push that agenda? Not only does it destroy the modern family, population control. If you're gay, you can't have kids. We're getting out of control. They need to reduce us. So they're causing COVID-19, all these diseases. They're poisoning our food. We're like cattle to them. But they need enough to sustain their rich lifestyles in the industries and the factories, and they need homeless people, and they need this so people pay taxes, and they need people on Section 8. So the government, they need a whole system, but the issue is people are overpopulating. That's why there's limit and restrictions in China where how many kids you can have. We're getting too overpopulated. So they're coming out pushing agendas to reduce the population. But back to my point with you that you asked me originally, Stephen, why would they lie about a statistic like that? Why would they put you in an education system that's a lie? Where the statistics prove that they couldn't even kill 6 million people in a gas chamber that fast.
I've heard conflicting data,
From who? Zionists?
different online sources. See, here's the thing.
Okay, who runs your
I
phone? Who runs
I
the phone that
like
you're running right now? What are you using right now?
I think T-Mobile,
Who owns T-Mobile? Do you know?
probably a
A
very
Jew.
rich man.
A Jew. Who owns Apple?
Mm.
A Jew.
So
Okay.
Jew.
Who owns ChatGPT? A Jew.
Jew.
Who owns Google? A Jew.
A Jew.
Who owns YouTube? A Jew. Go ahead, Danny.
T-Mobile is owned by Deutsche Telekom AG, which is a German telecommunications company.
Right. Who owns the company?
It, but it's German, so why would a Jew own it?
Why are there Nazi scientists in NASA? Come on, guys. We not seeing this? Am I the
see
only one here?
see I want to push back a little bit because
Listening.
I'm not like a here's the data, give me the data kind of guy. I'm more of a not physiognomy. What is the word? Maybe physiognomy would work. The type of analysis that the type of people use who are for conspiracy theories, I'm generally for them because they're fun and I think they're generally probably true because they make the most sense. And Occam's razor means that they're if they're true, if they're the easiest, solution, then it's probably true. But when you start just like just blinding yourself to everything else,
Such as.
um, such as conflicting data or credible sources or genuinely like good people believing in things that you're like, this is stupid if you believe in, then I think you should probably take a step back and take in both sides and weigh them with as much credulity as you would your side first. Now, no one likes those people. And you don't see any of those kind of people online or in social media because they're boring and they don't have any hot takes on anything and they're not fun to listen to, but they're usually very chill and they don't really like stake their flag in different political, socio-economical thought patterns and like big picture stuff, but they do stake a lot of their thoughts in kind of like what they can control in their life. Um,
Who are
and
these,
if
who,
we get back to locking in, I feel like that is where the more effective virtue is gained in the more communal sphere. But to your point, there are concerning statistics, right? Jewish overrepresentation in practically every regard, although there might be an asterisk towards what we define as Jewish, um, according to some people. But in all fairness, that is my criticism of your analysis. Anyways, I think Danny was going to say something.
Um, so as of right now, the Jewish population is 15 million to 15.7 million. Um,
right.
pre-war Jewish population, according to censi, multiple census.
Sensei Wu?
The pre-war Jewish population in Europe was between 8.7 and 9 million. Post-war censuses revealed the population was 3 million, or approximately 3 million. Um, I also would be wary to be like, okay, well, there's all these Jewish people in like like leadership positions, so therefore, like that must be like they must all be in cahoots, right? Because there's a lot of like Asian doctors and like Indian business owners, and to be like, well, the Indians have like a monopoly on Dunkin' Donuts would be like,
Well,
okay.
yeah.
but like but like but it's not like Indian people are waking up every day and they're like, oh, I'm gonna go buy another Dunkin' Donuts. Like it's just
I
like
mean, it's kind of cool.
it's part of like
They kind of do, yeah.
maybe that might not be as good of an example, but like there's a lot of like people of Asian descent who are at like Ivy League schools, right? And so that's not because they're necessarily like better. It's just because that's part of their culture, right? And so you have probably a good amount of Jewish people who have been raised in very like traditional homes or with like traditional values, um,
Of course.
or they've been given the skills through the way that they've been raised to like achieve these positions of power. Um, I generally believe that if you have a position of power like that, there's like 99.9879% chance that you're probably like a not great person. Um, so like,
True.
yeah, I think it's less about them being Jews and more about them being like terrible people.
Well,
You
that's
know?
boring.
They just
Yeah.
Back to Steven's point, I do want to point out something that he said. When you're your I guess criticism of my analysis, you mentioned that just because I don't believe, you use the word believe, and I want to break that word down for you real quick. What does it mean to believe in something?
Well, if I were Jordan Peterson, I would start going off about staking my life in it. There's two different forms of belief. I could give those definitions if you want.
Go ahead.
So I believe in like teleologically, like what I am able to know. Like I believe that reality is real. And then the other one is like I believe in Jesus Christ, and that's something I would die for. Whether or not I would die for, the truth of my belief in mundane things is less true, but you
Okay.
know, I still believe in it.
So, can we all agree that if you have to believe in something, it doesn't exist? Because you should know Jesus Christ. You don't believe in Jesus Christ. You know he's real. I know that
That's
my
actually
hand is this is my hand. You can't tell
that's
me
actually a
otherwise.
great question
So, what
because sorry, I'm gonna derail you on that one because that's a really good distinction for all Christians and all believers of God to consider because I don't think any saint could make the claim that they knew Jesus Christ in the same way that you know ordinary things. Um, I think that has to be from divine revelation. When I say I believe in love, right? You could say I know love exists, but that claim of knowledge is not in any way the same category as I know that my phone is right here.
right,
Like there are certain realities that we know of and other certain realities that we know of, and we
right,
usually use believe when we want to talk about the other reality. Anyways, continue.
right. But would it couldn't I say you contradicted yourself by saying that I don't think that saints got, knew God the way that, because that's a belief in a way. You're just saying you're just changing the word by saying I think. Because at the end of the day, you don't physically know the saints and you don't physically know that they had a connection with God or not. But like
Right.
I said, if you are as a religious person, and I believe this for any religion you believe in, believe in, hence our word to believe in, you should know it. If you're going to live your life according to it, you should know it's real. There shouldn't be no, I believe in this. I believe there's gold at the end of the rainbow. No, I know that Steve is wearing a gray hoodie. I can see it. I know that this is my left hand. You get what I'm trying to say? So when you believe in
That is
something,
that's impossible to
there's
live.
doubt. There's doubt. If you believe in something, there's doubt. It's just the way it works. You know that your eyes are it, they work a certain way and they see colors and they reflect things. These are things you know. You know that you're going to run out of time eventually, you know. But if you believe in something, you know, that's so. My whole point was when you said the statistics, everything that I said was not opinionated. Everything that I said was not opinionated, was not a conspiracy theory. Everything I said was factual. These are facts. They're Jewish dominance when it comes to our political power. There's Jewish dominance in our educational system. There is Jewish dominance in our financial literacy that we learn in school and in general that we actually don't even get educated on. So these are not, and it's factual that the statistics are impossible that there were 6 million Jews in gas chambers. It's factual that the gas chambers probably didn't exist because there's no proof of gas chambers in the first place. I'm not saying they didn't kill Jews. I'm sure they did because what they were trying to prevent what they're happening right now. And clearly, like I said in the beginning, when you have a war, you're not going to hear the enemy, the one who got defeated side. You're going to listen to the winner side. They're going to be the ones that live to tell the story. So of course they're going to flip and turn it however they want. If they did messed up crap in the war, they're not going to say, "Oh yeah, we know we raped women and did this and that." No, they're going to say they were bad people. We just came and defended our land. I'm bringing up
I
Palestine.
I think that that's not true though, because I think that you could say that about like things in the 1100s because like instant communication and the printing press were not a thing. But for every war from now on, I think you're always going to hear the other, like the losing
Oh yeah,
country's
you
side.
can. You can definitely 100%. I'm not saying that there's no like, but that's the whole point. People predominantly listen to the winner,
Well,
and you have to understand.
technically, Germany did lose because Hitler died in the end, and then they had the whole like Berlin Wall and all the reparations and stuff. So technically, aren't they the losers?
I'm looking at you, Steve. Did Hitler really die, or did Hitler just stop?
Regardless, that doesn't
Tune
change the
in
point.
Because
tune
they
in
never
next
found a
week
body.
and we'll
There we
have Hitler
go.
on the
Yeah,
pod.
we're gonna have
There we
Hitler on,
go.
actually.
Hitler.
Next
They
next
never found a body.
episode.
For anybody that
All right.
doesn't know this, they bombed an area that Hitler was in, but they found a tunnel system in the same building. They've never found a body for Hitler. They have never identified a body of Hitler.
I want to rewind the clock real quick and comment on some things that you were talking about. I wish I had some
Bro,
Olipop perp drink right now with me.
bro,
So
shit.
you were talking about I'm talking about beliefs, you're talking about factual statistics. What I was
Right.
trying to say is the logical conclusions drawn from those statistics, right? You
Yes,
know?
sir.
Um, and then the next thing, and my quarrels with those conclusions that you're drawing. The next thing you said, this is my main gripe, is that belief is like no way to live. Like you have to live with what you know, right?
For the most part. That's not exactly what I was saying. I was just
Okay.
referring the belief system to your point. I was trying to say I find it very conflicting when individuals speak about God and they say I believe in God, I believe in religion, where I feel as though you should know God. If you're going to devote your life to something, you should know it. You should that shouldn't it shouldn't be a question. It should because I believe in the word belief or believe. There's some type of human doubt in that word. That's just
Uh,
that's what I am saying.
so let me hit you with this. So I think the whole belief thing, what you're getting at with the doubt correlation is that belief does not necessarily mean certainty, which is always a certainty when it comes to knowing other people. So I know Danny and Steve pretty well.
Right.
Um, I could never, with 100% scientific certainty or foreknowledge, know how they will react or, if they will trust me or if I can trust them or these basic kind of future
Sure,
probabilities, right? That
sure,
has to be staked on some sort of belief. So when it comes to knowing God, um, the kind of primordial and archetypal person, uh,
right.
it's not going to look like certainty in the same way that when I drop this pencil, it'll certainly fall, Even then, uh, some skeptics will, you know, push on that. But basically, what I'm saying is that I think you are biting off way more than you think you are when you make that claim. But that's my criticism.
Fair point. Um, so let me ask you this. Your whole so let me just get can I get one more clarification on like exactly your whole criticism on the my like can you just briefly say it in like a short point? Does that make sense? So I just in
Yeah,
case I'm getting it wrong.
for sure. So I love conspiracy theories because they're fun and they usually have like simple answers, which can be usually the true answer. But the problem with conspiracy theorists is that they tend to take it too far with their conclusions and they use a lot of confirmation bias to ignore conflicting data. So they
Right,
have a lot of facts, which
right.
are good, but usually the conclusions that they draw are bent out of shape. And it's usually from, sorry, this is kind of long, a psychology of, hyper obsessive or some sort of obsessive personality over socioeconomical or political thought.
Fair enough. So what you said was basically that okay, so let me ask you this. The conflicting data, let's talk about that. Let me emphasize that point that you made. So when it comes to conspiracy theorists, which you know that's the name they give them, okay? You say there's conflicting data. Where does that data come from?
Well, that's exactly my point.
So when it comes to okay, let me ask you this question, Stephen. And I want everyone to think about this seriously. If we're on, this is what they teach you in John D. Rockefeller. If you guys were paying attention earlier, John D. Rockefeller's educational system. They say that we're on a big ball like this, spinning at I think 36,000 miles an hour, like this, boom, 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 like kind of like on our axis. Galaxy going around us like this at like 100 million miles per hour, probably. Just throwing a number out there. That's not factual, but the idea is that we are a ball with a bunch of shit spinning around us, going all throughout these galaxies, right? So my question to you,
Mhm.
Stephen, and I want you to answer me this: if that is the case, why are the stars in the same place every night? The stars constellations. If we're moving,
Have you ever looked
why
at
have
the
we not
stars
seen
before?
anything different? Yeah,
There's literally a whole
but like,
science by
but
being able to tell where you are because of the stars changing.
right. But I'm saying, why hasn't the constellations changed? Like they move around, but why don't they change? Why have we not seen anything different in all of the years of history? If we're flying through galaxies and things like that, shouldn't we have seen something different eventually? Shouldn't something have come up?
So
That's
we're not.
deep.
We're okay. Okay. Hold on one second. One second. Okay. So I think I don't even know where to begin with this. So when the Big Bang started, everything is going in the same direction, right? We're slowly expanding out.
Right.
So let's say we're right here. All right, we're slowly expanding out. Guess where everything else is? Still next to us.
Do you believe that?
Sure.
Do you believe in the Big Bang? The
I
Big
think it's
Bang. Like,
Yeah.
let's calm down real quick. You're telling me that something came from nothing
That's not
and it had
true.
a reaction.
That's not what the Big Bang is.
Well, they say, yeah, something, but okay. Everything, the laws of the universe is cause and reaction, right?
Yes.
Everything
All
has a
right.
cause and
Now we're
reaction.
getting somewhere.
Okay, listen. The whole idea is that something caused, whether it was an atom, I'm not too sure exactly how the fundamentals of the Big Bang happened, but I'm pretty sure something happened to cause like some explosion, and then boom, now we're sitting here on a Discord podcast. Okay.
Heck yeah.
But doesn't that go against the whole idea that there's a cause and effect? And I know you're going to bring in God into this, but without God, explain to me how their ideology makes sense. How does the Big Bang make sense? Just using the laws
Uh,
of the universe. Of what we know, back to what I said, what we know for sure. How can you bring something out of nothing and make something have a cause without, like, have an effect without a cause?
Why are we arguing over somebody else's belief?
So I asked him if he said he believed in the Big Bang. He said, yeah.
Yeah, I also believe in the Big Bang, but that's not what I believe.
Yeah, the Big
And
Bang is something different.
No, hold on. So the Big Bang, as a theory, is just saying that there was some sort of event, and we
right,
know this because everything is moving outwards in the universe, right? So there had to be some sort of event at the center, and then everything goes out, right? That's all the
right.
Big Bang Theory is saying. It's not necessarily saying that there was nothing and then there was something. That's like a modern, like atheistic interpretation. You can believe the Big Bang and still be like a Christian because you can just say, "Oh, well, God started that process."
So we're expanding into
The
what?
The Big
the
Bang.
universe is
But what is the universe?
there's the known universe and then there's the unknown universe.
Right.
We don't
So,
know the bounds of that because we can't.
right. But don't you just find it funny that once again, you're expanding into something that you don't know, but you're going this way, right? You're
Hmm.
expanding into something, but that yet again, it's nothing at the same time. How does that even make any sense?
Okay,
Like,
because no, go ahead.
go ahead.
Um, I think that you are trying to put the universe into a box. So you're saying like, okay,
Right,
there has to be like every part of it has to be understandable to me right now. And it's like that's not how the universe works though. Like
right.
the
Fair
universe is
enough.
far too big for us to be like,
Right,
oh, well, if I don't understand it, then that can't be true. It's like there
right,
was very recent history in which we didn't have an understanding of atoms or bacteria. Um,
right.
so like we can't just be like, oh, well, that doesn't make any sense because I don't understand where it would be going. It's like, yeah, of course you don't. None of us do. You know? Like
Right.
that's
Fair
just
enough.
how science works.
But back to my point, that whole idea of gravity, the whole idea of the Big Bang, the theory in the first place, the whole idea of, you know, our galaxy and everything like that was all created through a Jewish man.
But what does that benefit them?
Perfect answer, Danny. That's what I was waiting for.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
So listen, here we
You're
go.
saying the Big
Like,
Bang theory was made by a Jewish man?
I'm saying that I don't know if I actually don't know if the Big Bang Theory specifically was made by a Jewish man,
It was a
but I
Catholic priest.
do know, fair, but I do know that the educational system behind the general science that you learn in school was designed by a Jewish man. Okay, let me finish. Danny asked a very good question. I want everyone to pay attention to this. Why would somebody lie about something like that? If they did, hypothetically, they did lie about the laws of how our universe was created or what it is or where we're at. They lied about that. Why would they lie about it? What would they gain from that? Well, let me start here. They strip you of your knowledge, they strip you of your health because they feed you processed foods. You can look it up. They
Wait,
completely, hold on. I'm going to get to the point. I'm going to get to the point. So they're stripping you of your
Let him
knowledge in
cook.
the educational system. They feed you processed food, so you're constantly, dumbed down, and they drug the whole society, things like that. So their whole agenda revolves around stripping you of everything that God has given you. So what they would get from designing this whole solar system idea and things like that, it's comfortability. They're depriving you of what, because that allows people to believe in atheism. That allows people to believe in other religions. I'll explain. Because, say, just hypothetically, we were stationary. Say the Earth was stationary, right? We didn't move. Wouldn't that mean that? Now, here we go, Steve. I don't know if you're ready for this one. I'll start. You know what? I'm going to ease my way into this topic because
Okay.
this is a very controversial topic, and I see everybody's ready to just
I'm ready.
throw the Zionist indoctrination at me. Hold on. I'm going to get there. Okay, let's go back to the ancient Egyptians, the pyramids. Okay,
Sorry, had to
the
throw that out
pyramids.
for the Egyptian homies.
So, the pyramids, can we all agree that the ancient Egyptians were very knowledgeable about astrology? They
mhm.
knew pretty
Yeah.
much a lot about astrology. They actually built, I'm sure you guys know this, the pyramids very, 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 very almost precisely that the coordinates of speed of light, right? So these people were obviously very advanced for their time. Okay. They believed the earth was flat. They taught the earth was flat. The Greeks thought the earth was flat. The Romans. It wasn't until recently
That's not
that
true.
we started teaching. Fact check me. It wasn't until recently we started teaching that the earth was round. Okay,
How
that was,
recently? How recently?
I think it was around, I forget his name. Was it Aristotle? Was that his name who came up with that theory or whatever? Because it was a theory at first before it became factual. I think it was Aristotle. I can't remember his name. Long story short, my whole point was
Sorry, I got to stretch.
Stretch it out.
they taught that the earth was flat, right? And they had all this technology, whatever, they advanced, they knew about the star constellation, they taught that the earth was flat. Okay. So then, okay, the question most people will be like, oh no, that's just BS, that's bogus. Why would they why? But like you asked me, why would they lie about something like that? Because if the earth was flat, Danny, Steven, and Steve, that means there would be an edge. The four corners of the earth. It says it in the Bible. I know you read the Bible. It says it in the
All right.
and
All
it
right.
says it and the what does it call it? The
I
firmament.
knew it
That's
was going this way.
crazy.
Hold on, let me finish.
Bro does not
Now let me ask.
understand figures of speech. That's crazy.
Right, it's
You ever
cool. That's
seen a
fine.
map?
That's
It's got
fine.
four corners on it.
That's great.
Explain that.
That's fine.
Explain that.
Let me explain. Hold on. It's okay. Now let
They
me
were
ask
talking
you this:
about Minecraft.
Is this is this isn't it funny? Isn't it funny that every country in the world all agrees not to go to Antarctica?
That's not
Isn't that funny?
true.
It's called the Antarctica Peace Treaty, where that nobody can go there only for scientific reasoning. That you can only go to a certain point past Antarctica. You cannot go freely in Antarctica and keep going past the military. You cannot do it. There's a treaty saying that all the countries will avoid Antarctica to preserve its like whatever they said, to preserve the land or whatever. Okay. Why would they do that? What's in Antarctica that we can't see?
Big Chungus.
Penguins.
No, there's nothing
What
alive
if it's
there
a
because
wall?
you die instantly.
But what if that's propaganda? What if that's what they tell you? Because they don't want you to go there. My
See,
What
whole
if?
point is, if there was a wall, right? What would that prove? That would prove that there's a God. And they want to strip every human being of the possibility that there's a higher creator. And if you choose to believe it, that's on you because it's already instilled in us through our, whole biology. But if there's a wall that confirms to society that there is a creator because there's a
how?
wall.
How?
But if you believe in because if there's a wall, somebody had to have created the wall. You have to understand it's a psychological game because listen,
Couldn't you just say
the
the same thing about the
comfortability
Earth?
no, because the comfortability of the Big Bang allows people to think that everything just happened and I'm here and I'm living my life and there's no meaning behind it and I'm just going to do what they say. I'm going to go to work every day. I'm going to work till I'm 50 and I'm going to slave for the rest of my life and I'm going to die.
And I can't go to Antarctica.
And I can't go to Antarctica. And it's indoctrination. And they have indoctrinated me, you, all of us, our parents' parents. It's generational indoctrination. And people are so close minded that the fact that they've been lied to their entire lives, that they don't even want to fathom trying to think, okay, well, maybe they are lying. Why would they lie? What are they lying about? Maybe what are the proofs that they are that why would the ancient Egyptians and the Aztecs and these older civilizations believe that the earth was flat and they clearly knew what was above us? Why would they? And then it even says it in our Bible, but people say, oh, that's, it was translated through this language and that language and it's figures of speech. Okay. Still a gray area. And I don't like gray areas. It says four corners and a firmament. Specifically says firmament. That is a very specific word to use in a figure of speech, regardless of the language. It says a firmament. That is why when they try to shoot rockets up, they blow up.
Wait, what?
I want you to go on Google Maps or go on Google and look up a picture of the back of the moon. Look it up. We have never, there is no pictures that are not CGI of the back of the moon.
They're not
Look it
CGI.
up.
I'm too fucking tired for this shit.
Wait, hold on, hold on.
Dude, I
I
was
gotta.
not expecting the firmament segue into the moon landing not existing. That
The moon
was
landing was
that
the
was
moon landing was 100% fake. 100%.
that was crazy.
100%. There's so much. It was green screen. It was recorded in I think it was Arizona. There, yeah, 100%. The flag blowing on the moon. I thought there
Okay,
was no oxygen.
but how? I'm so lost. So first of all, again, do you know
You're
what
not drinking
Aristotle?
that Olipop perp drink, dude.
That's what you
Yeah, it's
need.
good, bro.
Do you know when Aristotle lived?
Actually, I don't.
So he lived in the 5th century BC. And even
Right,
earlier than him, Pythagoras, who lived in the 6th century BC, they both had a pretty good idea that the Earth was round, right? Because of scientific
right,
experiments that they couldn't
right.
fake and use CGI on. Do you know what descent of people, like what country those people came from?
Aristotle? No, I do not.
They were Greek.
They were
Great,
Jewish.
They were not Jewish.
but
They were very
fair.
separated from the Jewish people, actually.
Good point. Good point. But let me ask you this: they brought the ideology behind the whole solar system and things like that. But when did it go really into effect as a fact? Because that was when they brought it. They brought the idea of it.
Well,
But when did it
but okay,
go that they started teaching it?
yeah, yeah. So this comes back to our belief question, right? So the um, nobody knew what shape the Earth was. You
Hold
can't,
on, guys.
you
I'm cooking.
physically, oh shoot.
Steve, I'm
Oh
cooking.
no.
He said, "Oh,
You physically can't know it with certainty, right? You can make guesses, right, until you see it, right?
there, there. Good point. Okay. So when did they physically see it, Danny?
Are you going to do the whole moon landing thing?
You're going down that rabbit
But
hole. I didn't even bring that up.
but
I
there
don't know
are
if we
other
have time to
people,
go down that rabbit hole.
there are other
I
people
got
who
time.
went into space, like not just the moon, right? Like there are other people who have gone
Orbit,
into space,
orbit, orbit.
which is space.
Nope. There's water above us. It didn't go into space. CGI.
It's, it's just I really hope that
That's the clouds, dude. It's the clouds.
No, it's
Clouds are the
above the clouds.
water.
No, no, no. It's above. It's above. I'm telling you.
There's
Um,
there's fucking water floating above us.
have you seen the
There
ripple
is, and
effect
it's the
when they shoot
clouds. These
rockets up? No, you guys can laugh, but I'm serious.
it's
Like
called
if you watch the rockets from Elon Musk is shooting up, there is ripple
Elon
effects.
Mouse.
There is ripple effects. Why would there be ripple effects? You only see ripple effects in water. If you look up at the stars,
or the
right?
air
You look at the stars, ripple effects,
with sound
ripple effects.
when you
No,
break the
there's
sound
not a
Yeah.
barrier.
air is a
no.
fluid.
Yeah.
I know what you're saying, but not. It looks like water. If you've seen the video I'm talking about, you would
Ah,
see what
there's
I'm
one
saying.
video and it proves it all.
No, there's videos. No, there's videos of it. But what I'm trying to say is the whole. Like, listen, at the end of the day, my whole point is whether you want to choose to believe the extreme version that I took it to, or you want to just break it down to where the politics and the financial literacy is, right? Like I said, there's big, deep rabbit holes you guys can go down. That is up for you to evaluate, right? But my whole point is they've lied to you about everything so far. What else would they lie to you about? And that's where I want everyone to think about. If they lied to you about your money, they lied to you about your education, they lied to you about your history, what else are they lying to you about? Spirituality, vibrations, frequencies. What else are they lying to you about? So, my whole point is question everything you know. Everything you have been taught, I want you to question it. Whether you believe what I say, whether you take me as a crazy man, that is fine. But I want you to question everything you have been indoctrinated in because you have been indoctrinated. And whether you want to believe it or not, that's up to you. That's your journey to find. Whether you want to go down the rabbit holes, whether you want to do the research, whether you just think it's all bogus and you want to continue living your life, that's on you. But they've lied to you, and I've proven that they've lied to you when it comes to financial and politics and things like that in the educational system. I'm not saying you don't want to believe the firmament and all that stuff. That's fine. I can't prove that to you, but I've proven that they have lied to you from this point on. They lied to you about your money. They lied to you about this. They lied to you about that. So they already have a track record of lying to you. And they're trying to purposely strip you of everything that God has gifted you with already. So, what extent, the real question is, what extent are these people willing to take it to? That's the real question you should be asking. Instead of criticizing a person that's just trying to think outside of what everybody is taught and that's trying to think outside the box, because when Jesus came to the world, they crucified that man. They called him a fucking insane Looney Tune. They laughed at him because he spoke the truth. Because the truth sounds crazy in a world full of lies.
Kanye quote.
It's true. They
True.
laughed at Jesus and they put him on a cross and they crucified that man because they couldn't even bear what he was saying because he spoke the truth.
He was the
So,
truth.
like I said,
The truth.
you don't gotta agree, you don't gotta have anything. That's fine. But all I want you to do is just question everything you've been taught and go out there and you can achieve anything if you put your mind to it. They're
Very
trying to
true.
Yeah.
they're trying to they're trying to poison you through the foods. Do research on food. I'm telling you, you go to the grocery store. That food that you guys are eating is bad. Like they look at the ingredients they're putting in it. It's not even like in other countries that's banned. Red 40 or whatever is banned in
40.
other countries. Like they're
Tastes
putting
really
that in our
good though.
foods. Like it's so bad for you. Why do you think America's half obese and we have all these issues and they want you on medication. They want you on these prescriptions. They want you on diabetes and this and that and all this sugar addiction and dopamine addiction. They want to dumb you down so you don't ever wake up because if you're a slave and you're asleep, listen, it's called the American dream because you have to be asleep to believe it.
Thank you, Zaid McKay from what did I say? Detroit. What did I say?
New Orleans,
Nebraska.
New
New
Orleans.
Nebraska.
Orleans.
New
With his
Orleans.
perp drank Olipop,
Hey man,
quoting Kanye right next to Jesus Christ, kind
That's
of
a true
alluding to
man right there.
himself as a Christ-like figure at some points, and yeah, shedding wisdom and
yes sir.
a little bit of a little
Communist
bit of
Manifesto.
little
Read it.
bit of
It's about
a little bit of
communism.
everything.
Our generation now, these are the guys that are doing it to you. They came up with the ideology. 48
It's
Laws of
true.
Power. Come on. This book is banned in prisons. This is banned in prisons because it teaches you how to read anybody and they can't manipulate you. You can manipulate anyone. Just tactics. Education is everything.
That's a okay. Miseducation is also everything.
But
Um,
you need to know the right education and the wrong education so you can avoid the wrong education. So it's good to study the wrong education too.
I would agree with that up until that last part. Um,
No, he's spitting facts.
That's true. Because if you don't know what's bad and you're studying it, like you know what I'm trying to say, like, how are you gonna know? How are you gonna know what to avoid? You could be studying something satanic. How do you know? You have to know what satanic stuff looks like. Priests do it all the time. They study satanic stuff. You can't call them bad for doing that. They need to. So they know what to avoid.
well,
So
some
any
books you
education
can
is good.
avoid because they're a waste of time, but other
That's
books are good to
opinionated.
read
It's
to
opinionated.
know. Everything's everything you said was opinionated, bro.
No, sir. No, it's not. No, it's not. Towards the end, fair. I'll give you that. But the beginning half was not opinionated. Fact check me.
I I agree with some of those points. Honestly, there was a lot of words at the end of that, and I got kind of comfortable on this couch, and I was not paying as much of attention as I should have. I would like to raise the bar even further and question even more than Zaid is. Question um, ideologies and sticking to a narrative that is you know, not tested. Test your narratives with conflicting evidence and also judging characters and read good literature to find out how to be a good person. Because I think that's really what our conversation boils down to. Why do we want to be free? Because there's the definition of freedom as being able to do what you want, which Zaid seems to subscribe to, and there's the more I would say Catholic Church definition, which is to be able to freely do good things without being chained down by vices. So you could be a slave, but be more free than the tyrant that you're under the second definition. So once you have all that time and money on your hands, what are you going to do with it, Zaid?
I'm gonna give it to my kids, and I'm gonna
Good
not
answer.
be
Good
not
answer.
not
Good
gonna be in
answer. Good
generational debt.
answer.
I'm gonna I'm gonna save my bloodline from generational debt. That's exactly what I'm gonna do. And I'm gonna
Good answer.
enlighten them and try and give them the best life, the life that I wish I had. You know, good wife, kids, grow old or not. I could die tomorrow, but like I said in the beginning, I'm trying to get rich or die trying. That's all it's about.
That's all it's about, baby.
It's hard to find a good wife these days.
Hey man, you're good. If you're no, that's not true. I'm gonna reverse you on that. Stop having that mentality. That's propaganda. If you're a good man and you stand by morals,
Bro,
there's women
Steven
out
knows
there.
this.
Yes. No,
Bro,
Steven.
Steven
There's
knows
Steven is
women
the
out
this.
there.
last person you have
But
to tell this.
yeah, Steve's the
No, no, no,
last
no, no. What
person.
Shout out
what's
Lizzie.
going on?
Shout out Lizzie, bro.
Yeah, shout out Lizzie.
There's women out there, man. Just gotta
Shout out
find them.
Danny. This is true, but they are hard to come by.
If you consider this.
Hey
Shout
man,
out, shout out Lizzie.
gotta find the diamond in the dust. All you gotta do.
It's a good one.
True.
All right. So this has been our longest podcast we will probably ever have.
Probably.
How long was it?
Like an hour and a half.
Hour and a half. But
Hour and a
this
half?
was good. There
Yeah.
were some good topics. There were some good discussions. There was some good knowledge in this podcast. Thank you, Zade, for coming on finally. Finally,
Yes,
me
sir.
being able to make it work.
Yes,
Um,
sir.
definitely was a pleasure having you.
It was a
That
pleasure
was
for you guys having
that
me.
was
Sorry to cut you
pleasing.
off. Yeah, thank you
No,
guys.
you're good.
Hope you guys don't, be like, yeah, we're never inviting that guy again.
Yeah, we're gonna have you
No,
back on later
you're
on.
gonna be a
Yeah,
regular for sure.
you're gonna be our regular. Yeah, you're gonna be our favorite guest probably.
I appreciate that, guys. It was
Yeah.
definitely an amazing time for you guys having me. I'm sorry my schedule was a little tight, but
No, you good, man.
I hope
Keep
I
that
didn't
grind
offend
up.
anybody watching this. I'm sorry. I just trying to
Yeah, all 7
speak
viewers.
my
Yeah,
mind.
we're all right.
Speak my mind. That's it. That's what I'm trying to do. I
Yeah, don't
promise I
go
don't mean no
after
harm.
a young black man trying to make his way in life.
Nope. Please
Yeah.
don't. I'm good.
He's a. You got anything to plug, by the way? You got like a
Bro,
Wow. Plug the black guy. Yeah. Wow, guys. Like the video for that one. Asking the black guy for the plug.
you got
Think I'm gonna give it up that easy, man? Come on, Steven. I'm not gonna give the plug up that easy.
sorry. Twitch, YouTube, Instagram, OnlyFans, Facebook, Twitter, anything. What you got?
OnlyFans. I'm kidding, guys. I don't got social medias, man. You guys are good. If you know me, you know me. You don't, you don't.
True.
yep.
All right. Well, we can't wait to get to know you more on future installments for our next episodes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. But yeah, thanks for listening, guys. I hope you enjoyed our spooky guest this time for the Halloween season. And yeah, make sure you stay locked in. Make sure you listen to what Zaid said. Make sure you review those notes that you took because there will be a test by the end of the week. Just pay attention to our Discord. All right.
It's gonna be in the link in the description.
Yeah, link in the description, the Google form. Yeah,
Fill
make sure
that
you put your
out.
name on the test. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, on that note, we're out. See
See
ya.
ya.
Peace.